Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
who won in court but lost in the court of public opinion? Richard Jewell, the man falsely accused of the Centennial Olympic Park bombings in Atlanta in 1996. He was a security guard and saved dozens of lives by spotting the bomb and clearing spectators. The FBI noted him as a person of interest, and his name was dragged through the mud by local and national media. While the FBI stopped investigating Jewell by October of that year, it wasn't until a couple of years later that his name was truly cleared when Eric Rudolph, the actual bomber, was caught. Jewell sued a number of media outlets and settled with a few of them for an undisclosed amount. No good deed goes unpunished. People like to say this, but often it's just that good deeds go unrewarded. Last year, my neighbor a few houses down came screaming out of her house with her 3-year-old unconscious in her arms, begging for help, swinging her limp child around. My wife flew out the front door to provide CPR or first aid if needed. It was immediately apparent that the kid had a seizure. She got the mother to put the girl on the ground and rolled her on her side. I kept the dad calm and made sure an ambulance was called. And my wife provided all the information to the EMS when they arrived. That was about a year ago, and the parents never so much as say hello when we pass. O.J. Simpson. He did lose the wrongful death civil trial, but yeah, sure beat the criminal rap. This has more to do with the burden of proof, no. It's considerably lower in a civil case. Jennifer Connell was called the worst aunt ever and the aunt from hell for suing her nephew. Her nephew basically jumped into her arms and the extra physical affection broke her arm. Became a really big deal when it happened. Thing is, she needed to name a person at fault for her injury for her insurance and named her nephew with his parents' permission. She wasn't actually suing her nephew, just getting insurance money so she could be treated. IIRC. The lawsuit was wholly initiated by the insurance companies since her injuries were being paid for by the kid's parents' homeowner's liability insurance policy. That's a pretty normal thing. But the media got wind and all hell broke loose. This woman just wanted her medical bills paid. Casey Anthony. I still get so effing infuriated to this day. Everyone failed that poor baby. Me too. Fuck Florida courts. I wasn't surprised when they found George Zimmerman not guilty. Florida. I can't believe how she used Firefox, but they searched her Internet Explorer history. It's baffling to me that in the process of searching her history they somehow though Firefox wasn't a web browser. Fucking stupid. They had that trial on at the salon I was getting my hair cut at when the verdict was read. Those women, armed with scissors and razors and now very angry, were the most dangerous assemblage of human beings on earth at that moment. My stylist told me she had to calm down before finishing my cut. When I was 13 I was getting my haircut at a barber I had not gone to before. I had told him how I wanted my haircut at the beginning. In the middle of my cut he got into an argument with his boss about his paycheck. He did not stop cutting my hair and apparently forgot what I wanted done. So he started shaving the sides of my head. After the argument was over with his boss, I think he regained his composure and realized what he did. But the damage was done and I came out of the barber as a 13-year-old simple jack. When I got home I had my older brother shave the rest of my head so I wouldn't be ridiculed in school. I can't fathom how she got away with it when there's innocent people who go to jail. Wrongly convicted with way less evidence than her case. Infuriates me. The fucking cops only looked at her Internet Explorer browser history. Her Mozilla history was full of, how do I kill a baby, shit. No, I am not joking. Because they didn't produce any fucking evidence at the trial that she committed murder. They didn't even prove the kid was murdered. You have to connect the dots or you can't sustain a conviction. This is lawyer 101 shit. The woman who won a damages settlement from McDonald's for being burned by overly hot coffee. It was dangerously hot and they'd been warned before and paid medical bills by court order over other burns. But because she got a high payout over something as seemingly trivial as coffee, she's labeled litigious and dramatic. The burns were awful. And by the way, McDonald's still has coffee that's dangerously hot. They were in the news a week or two ago for another burn case. The phrase in her medical record was, fused labia to leg, and the pics are online. Don't look at them. The pics are online. Don't look at them. I wonder how many people didn't heed your warning. At least I did. I think she just wanted him to pay the medical bills but they refused and ended up paying more. It's pretty darn hot coffee to cause significant burns. 3rd degree burn to 6p3% of her body. That part of her body, being in and around the groin. Yes, she asked for $10,000 for her medical bills and McDonald's said no. The millions that she was awarded were punitive damages determined by the judge. In 1980 Lindy Chamberlain Creighton was charged for the murder, death of her daughter Azaria Chamberlain. They had been camping in the Australian bush when the baby disappeared. She claimed a dingo had taken her child. But the public thought that was preposterous. Despite locals who regularly camped in the area and indigenous people that lived there saying there were many dingo lairs nearby and that the creatures were extremely dangerous. They did little to no follow-up and she was convicted because the public thought she behaved weirdly after the baby's death by doing things like smiling at a pleasant memory during the memorial. Not only that, she became a laughingstock around the world with the term, "The dingo ate my baby," making it into shows as big as Seinfeld at the time. Years later they found a dingo lair with scraps of Azaria's clothes because, shockingly, the people who live and regularly camp in the area actually know more than the police and general public and were correct. She was released from prison and her name was cleared. But she'll have to live the rest of her life knowing her baby was taken from her and the world treated her like a murderous clown. This, and the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit, are a major lesson in how nobody should ever take what the media says about a case at face value. The way Stella Liebeck, the woman who was the plaintiff in the McDonald's coffee case, was treated in an incredibly shameful manner by the national media. We wonder why corporations have all the power in America. There's why in a nutshell. They completely controlled the narrative outside of the lawsuit. From Wikipedia, Liebeck went into shock and was taken to an emergency room at a hospital. She suffered third-degree burns on 6% of her skin and lesser burns over 16%. 13. She remained in the hospital for 8 days while she underwent skin grafting. During this period, Liebeck lost 20 pounds, 9.1 kilograms, nearly 20% of her body weight, reducing her to 83 pounds, 38 kilograms. After the hospital stay, Liebeck needed care for 3 weeks, which was provided by her daughter. Liebeck suffered permanent disfigurement after the incident and was partially disabled for 2 years. I don't care what anyone says. No cup of coffee should cause that kind of damage.